welcome to December's vlog, and I'm just going to talk about what we're going to do this month. So we just literally had a rehearsal, and that was our first one back after the second lockdown, so that was pretty cool. Unfortunately, my bass amp did break, so that meant that we couldn't do some of the older songs, but it gave us a chance to work on some of the new stuff, which was good. So we worked on a song called Hellfare and another song called Prima Materia. And we even, at the start of the rehearsal, had a chance to do a rig rundown for Phil's guitars and pedals and amps and stuff like that. So that will be in this month's Patreon releases, I guess. And planned what we're going to do for the song, for the playthrough. We're probably going to do a song called A Stranger. And we had a request from one of the Patreons to see if we could perhaps combine the guitar and the drum video. So we're going to have a go at that. Don't know how successful it'll be, but you'll see, obviously. And then we're going to do Walk Down Memory Lane, where we're going to try and maybe revisit the place where the swamp started and things like that. And then all the other bits and pieces like playlists and Q&A sessions and all those kind of things. So as per usual, now you're going to cut to a montage of what we've been doing, and then I'll talk to you at the end of the month about how it's gone. Cheers, bye. Okay, it's time for the second half of the December vlog, and as I realised when I was just about to start doing this, it's not only obviously the end of this month, but it's also the end of the year because it's New Year's Eve today. So I'm going to split this into two halves and talk about the stuff we've achieved this month, and then do another little extra bit just about the whole year in general. So okay, starting off with this month. So it started off really hectic and really successful the month. It seems to do that actually. We seem to go really good with the Patreon page at the start of the month. Then we have a lull, and then there's a crazy rush at the end. And we've been trying to avoid that, but we haven't quite managed that just yet. But having said that, the reason might be that we are actually constantly improving the content. And that was definitely evident this month. I would say that some of the videos that I edited this month for the page were some of the most complicated videos that I've done so far. So things are getting more complex, which obviously equals taking slightly more time about it. So we need to organise our time a little bit better, I guess. But having said that, like, I'm really happy with everything that we've done so far. We've been getting some great feedback from people about, I think people particularly like the question and answer session, which we made a little bit more, we changed it slightly. We each individually answered questions rather than all of us answering all of the questions. So that seemed to work really well. And we put a little bit more sort of detail into the answers, both visually and in what we actually said. And then obviously we slightly changed the song playthrough as well, because rather than it being separate videos, we combined the guitar and the drums, and then added baritone guitar. And then effectively, I mean, it was almost like a music video in a way, because but actually a little bit more complicated, because you had each of us individually recording our parts along with the original, and then lifting off the parts that we'd just recorded, the new parts, and then taking those parts and putting them all together, and then editing all the footage together. So that was actually quite complex, but I think it came out really well as well. I was really happy with that. And the Walk Down Memory Lane we just about managed to do, even though the place we went, the Face Bowl, was actually closed. But we managed to, because we were talking about the swamp, and the swamp in a way exists online as well as existing as an actual place, because there's lots of photographs and there's lots of videos on YouTube that people filmed and that, and I just basically collated all them together as a sort of a nice little sort of memory. And it was also really nice to do that at the end of the year as well. It seemed right somehow. So I think, again, it's been a very successful month, and we also gained a few more Patreons this month, which is good. The numbers gradually ticking up, and people have seemed to, we sort of started some more interaction with our Patreons this month. Like, we actually started a group message, and we started asking people directly about things. And for example, when we asked for the questions of the Q&A, we got them pretty much straight away from the Patreons. So that was really good. Really enjoyed that. So now moving on to 2020. Well, 2020, I mean, how do you sum it up really? It's like no year I think any of us have ever probably experienced in our lives. And obviously for musicians, it has this extra thing where, for us especially, the whole thing, or one of the main things that defined us as musicians, was taken away, completely taken away. And then you're left reeling, trying to work out sort of what to do next. And then obviously, because we couldn't rehearse as well, I mean, we've only, in the whole year, we have, to give you some stats, as they say, we usually used to average at least 40 gigs a year, sometimes a lot more actually, and we did 2 gigs in 2020, 2. And we only just managed to do slightly more rehearsals than gigs, because I think we've had maybe 3 rehearsals this year. So it's pretty crazy making, because it just, all of your plans, you just have to keep adapting your plans constantly. Like, you know, we should have been in the studio by now recording our new album, but because we couldn't write it in the normal way which we usually do in rehearsals and on tour, we then had to write it kind of online, which I've talked about in the past, which was fine, but then we still need to get into a rehearsal studio to actually be able to play them together, because that's like where a lot of the chemistry comes in our music, is from the way we interact. You know, we're not that kind of band that could just write a song completely on a computer and never have played it in a room together. It's just not what we're about. So yeah, so we have the songs in a way, we just haven't had a chance to rehearse them, and so we've had to keep pushing back the recording date for the album, which is obviously very frustrating. At the moment it stands that hopefully if we can get back in and get rehearsing quick enough, we'll be recording it in April. But who knows, the way things are at the moment, we may have to push it back to like kind of late spring, early summer. So that's very frustrating, obviously, because there's an album of songs that they need to be worked on, but it's ready to go in a way. So then we've had to focus on other things, like the Patreon page has been actually quite good at sort of allowing us to focus on something completely new and communicate with people in a different way, because we haven't been able to live. So that's been pretty good, especially for me. I think I've needed that sort of outlet, as it were. But you know, I guess you just have to try and be positive and hope that next year is going to get better, because I mean, it's pretty hard to see how it could get much worse. Shouldn't have said that. Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to at least being able to get back to some of the normality at some point next year, and get some new music out and get back on the road again and just see everyone again. So yeah, 2021 hopefully is going to be better. I hope you guys will have a better year next year as well. So I'll see you soon. Bye bye.